Hi everyone, Julie Riley here, and welcome to my second live YouTube program. This is sponsored by the Floral Park Library. We have our sweet and savory chips, and I threw in a little recipe for tropical salsa that you make from little fruit cups. So this is it. Let's go. All right. So for those of you that got my little package, I'm going to open it up. The things that you do need from your home are a little bit of cilantro and a little bit of red onion or regular onion or green onions and peppers, bell pepper, and we're talking like a sliver of each thing. So don't worry if you don't have it. It's okay. All right. You've got your instruction sheets. Perfect. Unpack the bag. I have 2 paper plates that you could work from. Let's go like this and try to see. Get a workspace going. A little bowl for the fruit salsa. Your flour tortillas. The cinnamon chips are one of my favorite recipes, and the kids just love them. And they're fresh. There are no preservatives. You know exactly what's going into them. 2 little fruit cups. I found some mango pineapple fruit cups. And then we have taco seasoning, cinnamon sugar, some Parmesan grated cheese, and this is garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of salt. All right. And you also got 2 pieces of parchment paper. That is for your cookie sheet. So you could go ahead and open them up. And we're going to use 2 cookie sheets because we're going to make put each chip on a different tray. So there's 1. And here's 2. Some of the tools that you'll need today are pair of tongs, pair of scissors, a little knife, a pastry brush, and maybe a strainer, but let's see, it's not that necessary for that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our cinnamon chips. You open up your bag. I gave you 4 tortillas. I'm going to use a big one and a small one. I just grabbed the wrong package when I was buying them, so there's a mixture of bigger and smaller tortillas. The first one also you're going to need, let me get you everything else that you need. You need a little bit of vegetable oil and a little container of water. Fantastic. Everyone's enjoying all these little classes. I figured I'd do this instead of making the tape, editing it, and everything. So all that editing takes me so much time. All right. So flour tortilla. You're going to take your cinnamon sugar, shake it up. If you have to make cinnamon sugar, this was about 2 tablespoons of sugar and maybe a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And there, it's all mixed up. Fun little thing for the kids to do, but do it very gently, children. Don't shake it hard. All right. Gonna open that up. Try to see. All right. So the other thing is if you don't have a pastry brush, let me quickly show you how to make one. Take a paper towel. Just keep rolling it up. Twist it like that. And then just turn it into like a little broomstick, right? Just keep cutting the edges. This is good too, so that you have nothing to clean up. Afterwards, you just throw it away. I'm all for that. That's why these kits are really great because I gave you everything. You're just going to have a couple of little utensils to clean up. So you could use this or this. We're going to dip it once in the water and spread it all over our flour tortilla. You don't want too much water on it because if you have too much water, it will take longer to cook. The tortillas will burn. I guess you could cook it on a lower temperature. They come out more like candy too when you use more water. So it's just enough water so that when we sprinkle our cinnamon sugar on it, it's going to stick. You want to make sure you get to all the edges. And you want to give it a nice coating. I put a piece of parchment underneath my plate also. So I kind of tapped it down a little bit. I'm going to let the excess go back into the container. And I'm going to flip it over. Oopsie. Do the same thing to the other side. Yeah, be careful. You could just rub it on too with the paper towel. This side got a lot of moisture on it. Okay. And sprinkle again. Make sure you get to the edges. If you want that last bite of your chip to have cinnamon sugar on it. All right. Let's see if I could see myself. Let's go to my phone. All right. It says that it's waiting for me. This is backwards. Okay. I hope this is working. Waiting for Julie Riley. Top chat. Did I do everything right? It says that I'm doing it right. Oh, I hope I'm streaming, that's for sure. Huh. All right. If anyone's out there, just type in a chat and tell me that I'm streaming. All right, so I had the one, and now we're going to cut this. I like to use my kitchen scissors. It's great for the kids, too, to use a little pair of scissors instead of a knife. So kids, we're going to cut it in half. Turn it. Cut it in half the other way. So if you cut a half in half, that equals a quarter. And then we're going to take our quarters and cut them in half. So when you cut a quarter in half, that is eighths. This is a great way to visualize some math. Just like a pizza pie. Cut, cut, cut. Fantastic. We're going to take our sheet pan. Oh, turn your oven on to, I would say about 375. We're going to place these on our sheet pan. Not too close to the edge. And use up half of the sheet pan because we have one more to do, right? Fantastic. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing to the second one. Very quick, very easy. Brush. Just a tiny bit more over here. Sprinkle. The excess back. Flip. Brush. Sprinkle. I'm videotaping it just in case this didn't go live. I don't know. It says that I'm live, but when I tried to bring it up on my phone, it says that it's waiting for me. All right, cut this in half. Whoops, it ripped. Don't worry about if it rips. Oh, it'll just, I just pulled it a little too hard. It's fine. When you, sometimes the children like to cut these into tiny little pieces. We're going to try to keep the pieces all the same size so that they cook evenly. If you have tiny little pieces and then you have big pieces, what happens is some pieces will burn before the other ones even get cooked. So that's going to go straight on to here also. Spread them out a little. And my oven is ready. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven. It's one of my favorite recipes. It's actually one of the favorite recipes of all of my students. 25 years, they always beg me to make this recipe every session that I do. So I was in East Williston. We love doing that. All right, I'm just going to wipe down some of the sugar off of my parchment paper. And we're going to move on to the savory chips. So with this one, we're not using water. We're going to use oil. And you could use vegetable oil or olive oil. The olive oil will make it nice and crisp, and it'll make it light. Like when you crunch into it, it's really nice. So we have taco seasoning and some garlic powder, onion powder, and salt, and your cheese. Now, I kind of like to mix them all together. So I'm going to go ahead and, what am I going to use for that? I'm going to just use a little bowl for that. But I'm not using all of it. So I'm going to put the cheese in. And I'm going to put maybe half of the garlic and onion. You could use the garlic and onion just straight and make them garlic chips. There's so many variations to this part. I gave you full recipes, I believe, for everything. Like we're doing like little shortcut recipe today. Cheese, chips. Oh, I didn't give it to you. You could put toppings on it like sesame seeds or everything, bagel topping. I just want to save a pinch, literally a pinch of this garlic powder for when we do our salsa. And the taco season is very, it's hot. So I just like to use a little pinch of that. Okay. What happened to my... All right, pardon me for 1 minute. My thing that I'm videotaping on is not plugged in to charge. Be right back. I don't want that video to stop taking pictures. All this technological stuff. Okay. There we go. Now it won't get cut off. Everything is charging and all. I'm back. All right. So I just put a pinch in, and I'm going to take a little spoon and just mix that up. And then you could give it a little taste. I'll put one more little pinch on the chips. Really, that is... I really don't like the spicy things. Okay. This time, as I said, we're going to use the oil. One dip. Make sure the whole thing is coated with the oil. Fantastic. We're going to kind of divide it up. Take a spoonful. Try to spread this in another half a spoonful. All right. And then kind of tap it down a little bit. Again, excess back in the bowl. Flip it over. Spread it with the oil. Make sure the oil gets all over it. There we go. Spoon. 1 spoon and a half. Pat it down. I think with this one, I'm going to do the second one before I cut it because I want to use up all of the cheese. I just want to make sure I have enough cheese for both of them. All right. Oil. So Floral Park Library, next week we're going to be out on the lawn making Mother's Day cakes. I'm so excited. You're going to bring a tray and a blanket to sit on, and we're going to do it on the lawn. We're going to have fun. It's going to be so great to see everyone in person. I ran into a couple of families yesterday when I dropped off the kids. Everyone is very excited. So am I. I kind of felt like a rock star. They're like, it's you. Thank you for doing these programs. I was like, oh, thank you for taking them. Really had to reinvent myself over the pandemic. I lost all of my schools, because I couldn't go into schools. But I did start St. Anne's is doing a virtual program that started last week. I'm very excited about that. Hopefully I'll get back into OLV. Oh, I did this side already. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So I want to use up this cheese. I'm going to put some here, put some more on here. I don't know what's happening over here. There we go. All right. Cut that down. Nice. All right. And I like my little towel on the side. Clean my hands. Now that I did both of these, I'm going to stack them on top of each other to cut them. I'm going to wipe off my scissors because they still have a little sugar on them. Cut, cut, cut. Someone once told me I should patent these and sell them, especially the cinnamon ones. I think there's only 1 or 2 brands out there. The cinnamon ones are very addicting, and that's what the cinnamon ones I like to eat them with some fruit salsa or my apple berry salsa. All right, here we go. We're going to put these. I'm going to slide them right on. And then I'm going to spread them out, single layer, on my tray. And let's see. And we're going to make sure we're keeping an eye on our cinnamon ones. You have to be very careful with the cinnamon ones because when sugar cooks with the water, it becomes like a candy, and it's a really bad burn if you touch them. So you don't want to touch your cinnamon sugar chips, especially if you used a lot of water on it. All right, and my parchment now, I'm going to just get rid of that. pull these out. And we're going to see if we have to flip them halfway through. And I don't have a cutting board there. Okay. Let me put down a towel. I'm using a plastic tablecloth. If I put this down on the tablecloth, it'll seize right up. Okay. With your tongs, parents, just flip these, and you'll see the second side you'll see the moisture on them. That's it. The top side is kind of dried out a little bit, so we just want to flip them. They don't really need too much longer. You know that they're done when the chips are hard, that they're not bendable, and you cook them to how you like them. Some people like them really cooked a lot, but you do need to cook them until they don't bend anymore. When they come out, they will naturally get hard on their own. So I'm just going to touch them, and you can see they're still a little bit bendy. We don't want that. So these are going to take about, I would say, 4 more minutes in the oven. Fantastic. And it goes. I'm going to put that timer on because I have a tendency of moving on to the next thing and forgetting about what's in the oven. All right, now the next thing, this was just something I threw in for you guys. It is Tropical Fruit Salsa. I do believe this is the one that I gave you the full recipe for. And I will post these recipes on my website. That is chefsofthefuture.com. So let me just type that in there. Whoopsie. Oh yeah. chefsofthefuture.com. Alrighty. I'm also on Facebook. And I'm on Facebook a lot on my personal Facebook too. So yes, I do believe I gave you the full recipe for the tropical fruit salsa, and that is with fresh fruit. But I thought it would be fantastic to take these little Dole, I think they're Del Monte or Dole, one of those brands. And if you have a strainer, that's great. If not, just open it a little bit, and we're going to pour out the liquid into a bowl or a cup. I forgot to bring my cup. I wanted to. Fantastic. Then finish opening it all the way and put it in the little bowl that I gave you. The same thing with the other one. Oops, I opened that too much. And it doesn't have to be dried out because we're going to end up putting a little more juices back into it. And we're going to dump that. And I got a little... a couple of pieces in here. Let's get them in there. Every bite is so delicious. So the thing, parents, this is what I want to talk about with this. This recipe is really great to introduce different flavors to your children. Things like peppers and cilantro and onion and things like that, where it's mixed in with the sweet food. So it's really nice on their palate. And then eventually, when they have other foods that are savory, they're more likely to eat them. So it's an easy way to increase their palates. So, and it's not a lot. I'm talking like a little pinch of cilantro, Oh, I have my big knife. You could just use a little knife. And you want to chop it up nice and fine. You could chop it for them. And then let them sprinkle it over. Kids just take little handfuls and sprinkle that in. Okay. And then, smell your fingers. How yummy does that smell, that cilantro? Very florally. So cilantro is an acquired taste. You either hate it or you love it in the beginning. And it's something that you just have to keep trying. So kids, an acquired taste is when you're little, you don't like as many things as you're going to like when you get older. And that's okay. But you keep tasting them as you get bigger. Every time. Just keep tasting things. Let's take a look at these chips. Ooh, that's hot. Flip them. Don't do this with your hands. My hands are so callous they don't feel the hot. But these do have to get flipped also. And those were softer, so these are going to be about 5 more minutes. Fantastic. The next thing we're going to add is, you know what, I didn't get the peppers, but you would just, I'm going to show you with the onion, it's the same amount. You're just going to take a tiny, tiny little sliver, tiny sliver of onion. That's all. So if you don't have it in the house, don't worry about it. Or you could use green onion. And I'm going to just chop this really fine. Just a tiny little bit. So that is about maybe a teaspoon. Fantastic. Do the same thing with the pepper. As I said, you could put some tomato in there. And the pepper, you know, I like to go with a red pepper because it just pops with the color. You could put things like some grated ginger in there. So just introducing different flavors. Now I'm going to go to my seasoning. And this is what's going to make it a little bit savory. Again, this taco seasoning is really, really strong. I am just going to take the tiniest pinch of it. And then I'm going to take about 1/8 of a teaspoon of the garlic and onion. All right. I'm going to mix it up. Get everything all nice and mixed. So kids, try this. It's so delicious. I'm going to be so proud of you if you do. If I was in class with everyone, I make it a game challenge for them to taste new things. And I say that if you try it and you don't like it, that's okay. And if you try it and you do like it, both ways we cheer for you because trying new foods is so, so important. And I'm so happy to not be doing just a sweet class. No, I did not taste this. That's delicious. So there it is, your tropical fruit salsa. Fantastic. And you know what? I'm going to get this juice is delicious to drink. So just get a little bit of ice in a cup. We'll have, you know, I'm going to add a little bit more of the taco seasoning. Give it mine a little bit of a kick. I like that. But to start out with the children, just a tiny, tiny little pinch. So they just get used to it. Most people, you know, most kids are used to the Tex-Mex flavors, right? We have, it really is part of our culture now. All right, let me get that glass. Fantastic. And I'm just going to pour the juice in there. That is nice. Get this out of the way. Get different bowls now. Get my 2 bowls. I'm going to put my cinnamon chips in a bowl. So this is a fun little snack you could just throw together on movie night or there we go. Let's turn this down a little. And let's see those cheese chips. Again, with the cheese chips, you can put any kind of seasoning on them. If you want to turn them Italian, put some parsley and some basil on them. You could put some dry cilantro on them. You could make them just as I said with the taco seasoning. And here we go. Oh, these are hot, 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 hot. Oh, you know what a good way to do it is? Just pull the parchment paper off of the sheet pan and dump them into your bowl. And there we have cinnamon chips with our cheese chips. My cheese chips are still hot, so they have to cool off. And when they cool off, they will get a little firmer. And our salsa. So the best way to eat the salsa is to just dip your chip into the salsa and get some on your chip. And so good and delicious. Please, if you like what you saw, hit like, hit subscribe. I think I have 43 subscribers. I'm on my way. I need 1,000, right? I want to. I can't do it from my phone. I had to do it from my my computer. Please visit me on my Facebook page, Instagram at Chefs of the Future, and from my kitchen to yours, with love and creativity. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Floral Park Library for sponsoring this, and thank you to all of my patrons at Floral Park. Manhasset is doing this program on Friday. All my libraries, all my schools. Thank you for supporting me through the pandemic, and I just can't wait to get back to seeing everybody. Bye.